York Giants first-round selection, quarterback Phil Simms, Morehead State.
It's time to go in the huddle with Phil Simms.
Hey, Phil, I'll run the game.
I don't know who you're sending in.
I'm sending goal line in.
Well, somebody give me something.
Okay.
I got time to make a call.
With over 20 years of broadcasting experience, Phil will give you a unique perspective as only he can.
The thing about New England, on both sides of the ball, they continuously attack you for the whole game. They never let up. They've been trained that way for so long.
Phil spent 15 years as a quarterback in the NFL and was named MVP of Super Bowl 21 with a near-perfect performance.
Simms has the ball. Simms throws, end zone, Bavard, touchdown!
Phil Simms has always been associated with winners. LT, Parcells, and now Russo.
Yeah, come on.
Football Fridays will never be the same.
Whoa, you're Phil Simms.
I am. I'm here.
It's Simms and the Mad Dog on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Now, here are two giants, Phil Simms and Christopher Russo.
Eddie Erickson and company did a great job at that open all year. Rena does a great job with the voice. That's been a fun open. I know he gets a kick out of it. It's the first time I've seen Phil next to me when that open is played. He was laughing. They do a great job at that.
Great.
Good to have you with us. First off, before we start, I've done a lot of these. I did Madden. I did all great. Herm, you've done a great job all year.
Well, thanks.
You've been there. You've been on top of it. You're so into the football. It's hard to believe. You could do this for hours, not just the 60 minutes. You've been good to the fans who called, so I want to make sure you know that. First time I've seen you doing it live one-on-one, so you need to know that right out of the gate. That's the first thing I wanted to say.
I appreciate it. I want everybody out there today, forgive my voice.
You've been working hard all week. Yes.
No, you know what it is? I just can't sleep in hotel rooms.
You hate it. Cold.
It's fatigue.
Too hot.
No, it's too hot.
You can't stand that. Yeah.
So I'm trying to hang in there, and so I probably won't get as worked up today as I usually do.
Well, I carry a little longer. We'll get some calls in this hour, too. Got a lot to do in this first little segment. Let's do a couple little things. Did you sleep well the day before Super Bowl, or whatever number it was again?
Yeah, no, I did not. But I never slept great the night before any games. It wasn't nerves. I was just kind of relaxed, watched TV. Super Bowl 21, Joe Montana was doing Saturday Night Live, so I got to watch that. He was really good. And
were you friends of Montana at that time?
Oh, no, we definitely
Later on, you became good
Yeah,
friends.
Joe and I really, really didn't like each other.
Hate each other then. Okay.
Not, hate's a strong word, but we're good friends now. And we have great laughs about it.
Right. So then you didn't like him, and you sat there and watched him do SNL that night.
Yes, it was great. And then I watched the movie, and I slept a couple hours probably, and was fine.
The advantage that you have, and I've heard coaches say this a lot, that Super Bowl on the West Coast is much better because you don't got to sit around all day. Game's at 3:30.
Good point.
I don't know what time the game was then. It's probably about 5 o'clock start, maybe a 6 o'clock start. Now you got to sit around forever waiting to get to 6:30. At least on your day, it's in the middle of the afternoon. It's not as bad waiting around a hotel room getting to play the game, right?
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but it is. The longer you wait, I would stay up later and sleep later just to shorten a day. Something like that.
What time did you get up day of Super Bowl that day? 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock?
Oh, no later than 7. I probably got, maybe, just like I said, a couple hours sleep.
What time is the team breakfast in a situation? What time is your team breakfast?
I didn't even go.
You didn't even go?
No. I got
you had nothing to eat before the game?
I had a piece of toast, cup of coffee, had a little something when I got to the stadium, and, that was another thing.
Was your family there?
Everybody. Yeah, all my brothers, sisters, uncles.
Chris was born?
Oh, Christopher was 6 years old.
Was the other two kids born too?
No, my daughter was.
Oh, your daughter was? Not Matthew?
No, he was born in 88.
So you had two of the kids. They were at the game?
So by the time my son Christopher was 6, he knew everything.
No, he was smart enough to know.
He knew it all. He knew what was going on, why it was happening, and...
And your father was there. We talked about this once before. Your
yes,
father
he was.
At the game.
My whole family.
Didn't care about you playing sports growing up, but he was at that football game, wasn't that?
He made time for that. Hey, listen, my father died at an early age at 62, and he said to me once late in life, he goes, look, whenever it ends, but I've seen it all. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, well, I saw the ocean, I saw the Cincinnati Reds win the World Series, and I saw the Giants win the Super Bowl.
How about that? 75 Reds. That's right. The Reds won a championship in 75. He was a big Reds fan.
Oh, huge Reds fan. We all were.
All right, okay. Did you know during warm-ups in 86 that you were going to have one of these in-the-zone kind of days?
No. I mean, I threw it great, but I'd been throwing it great for about 8 weeks. And, people don't realize our offense kind of caught fire late in the season where we scored a lot of points, big plays. That's all we look for.
Well, you killed the 49ers.
Big plays. I completed 7 passes.
That's all you did in that game was
7
passes? Wow.
4 touchdowns, and none of them were gimmies.
Wow, you only in a divisional game against the Niners in 86, you only completed 7 passes.
7
4
of 14, 4 TDs.
Wow.
And I earned every one of them.
You threw a touchdown pass against the Redskins, did you not?
I threw 1, yes, to Lionel Manuel, back of the end zone.
Back in the end zone, about 10 yards, 12 yards.
After I threw a touchdown the play before, but we had a penalty. So, and me, I was just killing the guy that made the penalty.
You want to throw a touchdown pass in a championship?
Jeez. I'm going, how could you move? And it was Brad Benson, who always had the worst job because we had so many good defensive ends back then, but we were lucky. We scored the next play anyway.
All right, now, in that Denver game, the game was close. Was it 10-9 at the half?
10-9, yes.
Did you feel at the half that it was only a matter of time, or did you feel at the half, geez, how the hell do we keep this team in the game? We got to be careful.
Yeah.
We might get picked off. What do you think? You were the heavy favorite in the game.
Yeah, no negative thoughts. Very relaxed. Our locker room was very relaxed. I tell people this, and I know they think I'm making it up. I literally fell asleep for about 5 or 10 minutes. Just sat down, leaned my head back, relaxed. Bill Parcells got up before we went back out, and he said, fellas, we got 30 minutes. And that was kind of his usual thing. He said something else, and that was it. And we went out and played.
Wow. Now, you had played Denver in the regular season. You won a close game.
Beat them late.
George Martin had a big fumble recovery touchdown, or maybe it was intercept, whatever it was. He made a big play in that game.
Oh, unbelievable run back.
Yeah, I remember that. So that was a close game. Now, in 90, you played Buffalo too, but we'll do that in a minute. So did you feel confident because you beat them at home and it was a close game? Wasn't in Denver. What was your take going into the Denver game the second time Super Bowl after you had beaten them in the regular season?
Well, we beat them in the regular season. That game kind of taught us something about Denver. We got to size them up. And I knew in the Super Bowl we were going to be much more aggressive than we were in the regular season game.
You did.
So I was very, very confident going in through practice, through watching them, and just, Chris, really, truly knowing everything that they were going to do.
You were very confident. The exact game plan defensively, you had a good feel.
Ron Earhart had it to the T. If it's this, 3rd and 3, Phil, they're going to do this. If it's 3rd and 7, they're going to do. And at halftime, I'm going, dang, Ron's been right every play. And, it was Denver's offense played well in the first half, kept us off the field, but we came out right away. Opening drive, Parcells goes forward on 4th and a half a yard at midfield. We drive down and score, and they never stopped us after that.
Now, Reeves was the Denver coach. You liked Reeves when you played
loved
for him.
him.
You loved him. Did you ever talk about the game when you had Reeves as your head coach?
We talked a little. He was always just mad. Excuse me. He was always mad that they were playing New York when they came on the field.
Oh, before the game started.
So he was crazy. So upset by it.
Was he really?
Oh, but the damn would be that way. And but he was good. We had a great relationship. I get mad. Dan Reeves should be in the Hall of Fame.
He coached a lot of teams to a Super Bowl. Atlanta, Denver.
When all those games came to us.
If Marv Levy's in the Hall of Fame, why isn't Dan Reeves in the Hall of Fame?
He was a tremendous player, been an assistant coach. I mean, I don't want to get into it.
You're not wrong.
I am right.
That's a good point.
He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
All right, so what was the feeling after? I mean, was it a relief? Was it almost a little bit of a letdown? What was the feeling when you finally won that game and the bell went out, the gun went off, and you had won 39-20? What was the immediate feeling that you had on the sideline?
Well, I did. I'm going to Disney World.
Did you take the last snap? Did you take a knee? Did you do a kneel down?
I think maybe Jeff Rutledge did. I'm not sure.
Okay.
So or maybe they ran the clock out, but.
So you did the Disney World thing. Were you the first guy to do that?
First one.
Wow, how about that? You went to Disney World that night?
No, about a week later.
Oh, about a week later.
Yeah.
All right, now let's go to the second one. This is a different feeling for you.
Sure.
I know you hate this second one. I mean, you like the fact the team won, but it was a tricky spot for you.
Listen.
Were you out there? You went to the game, right?
I sat on the sidelines for the game in the first half, and then I stayed in the locker room after that.
Why did you stay in the locker room after that? It was a close game. Why didn't you come out in the second half?
I was on crutches, couldn't move around. I was in the way, trying not to get run over. And I just said, I'm going to prop my foot up. And I just got the cast taken off of it, I think about a day or two before the game.
Phil got hurt in December when they played Buffalo in the regular season that year. Go ahead.
Yep. And so it was tough. And it just felt better to sit there and watch it on TV instead of being part of it on the sideline.
Was it bittersweet?
Sure. And it took me a while to kind of get over it.
It did.
Chris, to play that many games that year and then not get a chance to go to the playoffs and play, that's like Carson Wentz. He's going through it now, and if Philadelphia wins, it'll always be in his heart. But he's going to have great success, and if he wins one, of course, that'll take it back.
Right. Well,
but one of my ex-teammates said something to me. Brad Benson called me the day after the game. He goes, I know how you're feeling. He goes, but just give it time. What you did for the team and all that, you're going to appreciate the second Super Bowl. And I'll tell you, it really made me feel great.
Do you appreciate the second Super Bowl?
Absolutely, I do.
Do you feel good for Hostetler?
Yes, I do.
That he won one.
I'm happy for him. I know he was an unhappy guy. I didn't hear his interview in New York this week.
I know. I read the stories on him down here. They had a lot of stories on
Did they?
on that game. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, he sat behind me for 6 years, 7, I don't know, whatever it was. And, he just goes, well, I didn't expect to play because Phil was doing well. But he still wanted to play. So that feeling is frustrating, especially when you're a backup quarterback and you want to be a starter and you size it up and you realize if I do get to play, I can do pretty well. So,
and he was right. He did. He was a good player. Be fair. You know that.
He did well. I think there's a lot of correlations between him and Nick Foles.
I totally agree. We'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll get to that. I'm with you 100%.
So, but I am. I can really say this with all honesty. I'm happy for him. I really am that he won that Super Bowl. He was part of it, and I'm sure when the career's over, there's at least that satisfaction
and he contributed to
that you were part of a Super Bowl winning team.
Did he ask and did you offer help during the process when you were hurt?
I did nothing.
Did he ask? He said, Phil, can you help me out? What do you think about
No,
you played
no.
San Francisco in the regular season, so you played him in the playoffs. You played Buffalo in the regular season, played him did he ask? Did you offer? Did anybody try to get you together, say, Phil, what do you see here? Things like that? Or did you stay in the background?
I stayed in the background. I thought that was the best thing to do.
You regret that at all? You think you made the right call?
I know I made the right choice. I'm pretty good at reading people. And
he didn't want to be helped. He wanted to do his own thing.
It's his thing.
It's his team. Let him run it.
In all the years I played, I didn't come to the sideline and go, what do you see, Jeff? You see anything? So it wasn't like, I know people talk about it now. Carson Wentz is in there trying to help, but it's hard to help because the coaches are so above the players with knowledge that leave it to them to do it.
Interesting.
And I really thought I was helping him by staying out of the way.
I think the key, and you had the quote this week, you probably would have beaten Buffalo with you. He really was a big factor in the San Francisco game because
I agree.
He moved.
I
He only
agree.
kicked 5 field goals in the game. Now, the fumble was the key play. Niners going for the three-peat game. Giants beat him in San Francisco 15-13. Barr made a field goal.
Yeah.
But he moved very well
Yeah, he did.
in that game. So we got to give him credit for that.
I'm
not sure if he would have moved as well in that game as he did.
No, I would not. If I knew then what I know now, I would have ran with the football a lot more, to throw too. Then I was just raised to stand in there,
Take the hit,
take
make
it.
the pass. Yeah.
And if I didn't, sometimes Parcells would go, oh, Sims, what are you worried about your completion percentage? If I threw a short pass, throw it down the field.
Take a shot at it.
Take a shot. I'm like, okay.
But you don't mind doing. You didn't care about that stuff.
No. So that game, it would have been an entirely kind of different game if I would have played.
It's fascinating, too. Last thing, then a break, and then we move on. Last thing, too, the thing about that Super Bowl against the Bills, the best play of the game that he made was not fumbling.
Yes.
I mean, Jeff played a good game. He orchestrated the game right. He managed the game. He got the ball to Ingram. He threw the ball around Meggett. He did what he had to do. And the offense won the game. The defense did not. The offense had the ball for 40 minutes. But the best thing that he did in that game was take the safety and not fumble when he got pounded by Bruce Smith.
There was 2 plays in that game. That one and Mark Ingram catching that short pass.
Get the first down. Yeah, it was huge.
And running the football so efficiently and just killing the clock. So that wasn't unusual for that team.
And against that opponent, that's kind of what you had to do anyway.
We did it all year. Quick story. I told you this. Playing the Miami Dolphins that year, week 3 or 4, we had one of those 7-minute opening drive scores. Miami 3 and out. I'm walking on the field. Parcells goes, "Hey, Sims." I turn around. I know. He points at his watch.
Use the clock.
And he says, "Kill the clock."
Oh, my God.
Because he
was afraid of Marino, probably.
He says, let's give Marino as few chances as we won 20-3.
I know. It was the Meadowlands.
It was a boring game.
I was at that game.
And I think that was the game, and I walked off the field. Mr. Mayer was in the locker room. The game lasted like 2 minutes and 2 hours and 35 or 40 minutes. And he was so proud. He goes, "Let's see what CBS can do with that."
Phil Simms gets us off to a good start. 18 after the hour. Your calls after the next segment. I'll get to Phil in a sec. We continue here on Mad Dog Unleashed.